This is just a little short video about how to remove the lock cylinder from the cap on a Diavel motorcycle. Anyway, it's very simple. I've got the cap off the bike. You do not have to remove the cap assembly from the bike. It's just easier to show that way. So I've got it set up on my desk. To begin with, you just take 3 screws out from the underside of the cap, and once you do that, you get the cap assembly loose, turn it upside down, and there's a plate with 3 screws underneath the, excuse me, 2 springs underneath the, on the end of the plate there. So, what you need to do is just retract the sliding plate, and I don't have the key handy, so I'm just going to pull it out the same way I did the donor cap, which I did not have the key for. If you have the key, it probably comes out easier. But anyway, you got to make sure that you don't lose these springs in the end. And just pull the springs out. Then the whole thing will lift out. The lock cylinder will lift out. And get a little tug here. Okay, so once the lock cylinder is out, since I don't have the key, I didn't get the key out of the garage, what you can do to slip this little ring off so that you can take the lock cylinder out is just manually depress the tumblers. So, and you can do that one at a time with a small screwdriver while keeping a little pressure on it. I mean, it's so easy, I'm just not bothering to go out to the garage and get the key out of my riding suit. But anyway, so then, lock cylinder's out. You just put the plate back in without the lock cylinder on it. Okay, and I find that it's easier to put the springs into the plate. Like A. Slide this in to the point where it'll again, now it's captive, you know, once it's slid in there. So, now when you put it back together, and I'm just going to hold it together rather than putting the screws in. This is what it looks like, you know, and you stick your finger in here to retract the latch. That's all you need to do. It's a little, you know, the latch has some tension on it, so you have to push the cap in, not unlike what you do when you use the key. And it is a little stiff. You know, it'd be nice to get something a little easier on your finger in there, but this works quite well for me right now, and it just looks like a stock cap. You know, somebody would not know that it doesn't have the lock cylinder in there unless they, you know, walked up to the bike and started screwing with it anyway. And in no way does it affect the sealing action or anything. The lock cylinder never sees any fuel vapor. It's all completely sealed. So there's a little O-ring there that keeps rainwater out, but even if rainwater got in here, it would not get into the tank due to the seal. So anyway, that's a pretty easy mod if you don't want to go through the hassle of changing the whole tank. And when this is mounted to the bike, the only thing you need to make sure of is that you don't drop one of these 3 screws into the tank. They are magnetic, but still you don't want to go fishing, so you do have to be careful with that part. But just by opening the tank, you can take the 3 screws out and do this without removing the ring from the bike. That's what I did with mine. Alright,